Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. It's Fallout Friday. So, as you can see, we're in Sanctuary Hills. I've got a cool little build for you today that was a little unplanned, but I think it's turned out really well. So as always, if you like what you see, hit that big red button, and let's get stuck in. So, there's a couple of things I'd like to address before we get into the meat of the video. First of all, back in September, not long after I'd started the channel, I had this vague thought, somewhere on the outside edge of optimism, that it would be really cool to make 100 subscribers by New Year's. I didn't really think it was going to happen, but as it's turned out, we got there with a couple of days to spare, which is of course down to you guys, and very, very much appreciated. So I'm literally on cloud nine about that. So I wanted to say first and foremost, thank you very much for that. Really couldn't be happier. And following on from that, now that we're in the new year, I would like to expand on the number of things I'm doing for you guys. So if you have any suggestions of the sort of content you'd like to see on the channel, alongside the Fallout stuff of course, then let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd be very much interested in hearing what you have to say on it. So, moving back in the direction of the tour, I've recently started a somewhat modded survival playthrough, which is something I've never done before. And as we're going for something a little different, I thought I'd record it and put it up on the channel for you. So if you'd like to see me fail hard and get absolutely slaughtered by everything from blood bugs upwards, then stop by and check the video out. It should be good for a laugh. And speaking of the survival playthrough, brings us on to the tour. So let's have a look, shall we? So, we are outside the sole survivor's house and the workshop house on the right there. And this build is actually pretty small. I started out with just using the workshop house as a player home for my survival playthrough, but as usually happens when I build anything at all, it kind of got out of hand and turned it to an entire small compound. Well, I have to admit, I'm really happy with how it's turned out. See the front gate back there, and I've gone for chain link fences around this. And most of the stuff you'll see in here is either from the Unlock Settlement Objects mod, or as a result of the Simple Green mod, which has actually got far more expansive since I recorded this. The last couple of days it's been updated 2 or 3 times, so where we're actually standing now is actually filled with trees. Kind of cuts down the sight lines for the guard that stands back there, but it does look pretty. So we've got guard posts around the basic compound, and we're just using most of what's existing to build into the walls as well, and the ruined houses and the like. And all the guard posts are basically facing areas where attacks are likely to come from, the spawn points in short. Yeah, anything you see here is either vanilla in the case of the turrets, or can be found in Unlocked Settlement Objects. I've also used Scrap That Settlement to clear out some of the rubbish, which has helped tidy it up a little bit, which really made the place look much better. So as you can see, I've plugged up all the gaps in the hedge as well. I didn't want to go overboard and remove too much, and a massive wall didn't really suit the survival playthrough theme, but I did want a decent fence around it, so chain link it is. Now, the only way into the settlement, either for the settlers, myself, or anybody who wants to attack, is through the front gate here. And we've got a bit of junk piled up outside, just stuff they've dumped out there. Got the turret sat in barrels, so credit over to no respawns for that one. These guard posts are a combination of items added by the mod that you'll see on the military structures tab in Unlock Settlement Objects. They don't actually work as guard posts, so you can see the little mats on the floor there. Those are also added by Unlock Settlement Objects, and they just work the same way as a guard post. So just assign somebody to those, and you can sign them up to 3 as usual, and they'll stand there as if it were on a guard post. And whilst there are some of them with stairs attached to those platforms, they're much, much larger. So I went to the scaffolding tab to deal with the oversizing issue there. So, some neat, smaller, high-tech power armor stations here. This is going to be the Sole Survivor's principal home, certainly for the beginning of the game. Some storage for anything he doesn't want to carry around, which is most stuff, given that it's a survival playthrough. Yeah. Just randomly decided to put a skull somewhere and it just sat there okay, so I think I need a name for him. So I've got a little area to hang out. It's not heavily decorated yet. I think as I pick up more stuff, move a bit through the game, I'll add a few more bits and pieces in. We've got a few bits on the desk there. All that added by and placed using OC decorators, so when Brahmin inevitably wind up in my house, they shouldn't knock anything around too much, I'll just chase them out. So I'm storing food in the 2 fridges there, that should work as containers. A few bits and pieces on the side, sugar bombs, cooking oil, and somewhere for him to eat in there. We've got the bobbleheads down there, and over behind us is also the model robot stand. You just see the edge of it there. It works the same way as a bobblehead, but it's added by unlocked settlement objects. So, the bathroom has become a toilet, washroom and chem station. We've replaced the bath with a decontamination shower. That's very handy on a survival playthrough, especially as the Radaway and the like have some fairly serious negative effects. And on to the bedroom. I did want to put a pillow on the bed, but OC Decorator wasn't playing ball, so that's not happened. I might see if I can glitch one on there. There we go. We've got the Children of Atom banners. Just put on a static surface, then use a concrete pillar and select all just to move them onto the walls. And they form the nearest thing I think we're going to get to curtains anytime soon anyway. There are some blinds added by the mod, but they're not very effective. Outside the houses, as you can see, we've got a lot more plants and trees. And most of these actually come from unlocked settlement objects, in the case of the trees. The smaller plants are a mixture of unlocked settlement objects and wild plants and alcohol. So the hub flower and stuff like that you can plant and assign settlers to farm it for you. Just handy if you like making your own chems. So, as I'm farming a bit of food and a few ingredients for chems, I needed a few settlers around to do the work for me. So this house is where they stay. Thought it'd be a bit more practical to have the sole survivor on the other side of the street than in his own house. A bit more room, a bit more space to put things in. But I'd be remiss if I didn't reinforce this place and at least put everybody in here. So it's kind of become a bunkhouse for my settlers. Got the bathroom. Not much going on in there. And I've left all the stuff that belongs to Codsworth there as well. So this is basically where the farmers sleep. It's got a few beds in there. I've just used select all to glitch some greenhouse windows straight into the gaps there. It's a bit fiddly, but they do go in. And everybody, as you can see, has got their own duffel bags or suitcases or somewhere to keep their belongings. And a little bit of an area to hang out in the evenings. And we'll head on around the back. I haven't wanted to overly decorate the fences, so I kind of might put a bit more around. In some of the more accessible areas, they've dumped stuff, put a few bits of reinforcement around. Generally try to intimidate anybody who might want to attack the place a little bit, put them off the idea. See, we're looking towards Vault 111 there, so there's a spawn point just down there behind that picket fence. So this is the back garden of the Sole Survivor's house. I've put some chain link fences there to block up the gaps. And yeah, that bugs me a little bit that the metal pieces don't reach, but there we go. I've seen a couple of people do something along these lines, so I thought if we've got the objects added by USA, that we'll build a little grave for Nora. And another little no respawns technique here. That's a water purifier, which I just put down in the river over the other side, grabbed it with concrete pillar and select all, and dragged it over here. So I need something that would produce a bit more water than just ordinary water pumps. I didn't really fancy having to get a long line of those. So I've put that in there. There is the powered water pump that also produces 10, but that's noisy as hell, quite annoying. So I didn't bother. Now we're doing. So yep, back wall, got a few more objects just placed down there. Got a turret sat in a ruined car. More decoration. It's warehouse pieces I've used to close up the carport, by the way. This I'm very pleased with. These concrete blocks added in unlock settlement objects. You might have seen them on a peer video I did just before Christmas. But I've actually used the rug and pillar to just glitch those straight over the top of little benches, so settlers should sit on them. Although I have kind of done one of them the wrong way around, and they sit with their back to the fire, which is kind of annoying. I might have to change that at some point. In fact, I have seen them sitting on them on occasion. Although he does tend to get snagged there, which is a bit annoying. I've also used about 3 or 4 fires there and just select all and move them all one on top of the other, because the basic one's a bit thin, doesn't really look all that good. As I was saying before, since Andrew CX has updated Simple Green, there's now an absolute load of trees down there.
Hope you ain't one of them since.
So his view from that platform is severely cut down. But it does look really pretty, so... Yeah, little potato farm, a few more bits and pieces to make the fence look a little bit less stark and in your face. And I think that's most everything. So yeah, pretty happy with how this turned out. Fairly simple. But it's a nice neat little compound and works really well. Slightly over the top for my initial survival bunker house type thing idea, but I'm very fond of it. So, if you'd like to follow me on social media, you can find me on Twitter and Facebook at /DarthXionGames. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit those lovely buttons, and I will speak to you soon. Thank you very much.